Welcome to Top Tier Wrestling, your ultimate destination for all things AEW and WWE. Whether you're a hardcore wrestling fanatic or just a casual viewer, we've got you covered with the latest news, in depth show reviews, and our unfiltered opinions on everything happening in the world of professional wrestling. Join us as we dive into the high octane action, dramatic storylines, and backstage buzz of AEW and WWE. Get ready to step into the ring with us and stay on top of the wrestling world. This is Top Tier Wrestling. Welcome, my brothers and sisters and Chris Sabin, to the Top Tier Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Queen of the Backbreaker, Dondrick Strong. Joined tonight and thankfully always by my partner in crime. He swerves when he drives, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Strickland. Speaking of, ladies and gentlemen, the time is nigh for the biggest wrestling event of the year. WrestleMania 41 starts today, and I, for one, am too fucking excited. But before the party can get started, Friday Night SmackDown seeks to pique our interest in what is turning out to be, let me fix my glasses here, in the words of the youngins, a complete crash out. So, come one, come all, and let's get into it.
Nice. I love it. And yeah, I'm far too excited for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I
What
have
even
to
is
admit,
life?
coming into this SmackDown, I was slightly worried that since WrestleMania is happening on the weekend, SmackDown's just going to
Yeah.
be leftover
Yes.
bits, right?
Come on, we all know.
But this episode was really pretty good. We open up the show with Solo Sikoa arriving in an SUV. Apparently, if you're part of the Anoa'i Samoan dynasty, you get black SUVs assigned to you, like, along with your tattoo.
Yeah.
So he shows up in a black SUV, and Tamatonga hops out. And then they sort of meet up in the front, and then Tamatonga's like, "Oh snap, I forgot something," because we were laughing about that. It's like, "Oh man, Tama screwed up and left something in the car."
Yeah.
But it was apparently intentional because then one super sneaky stealth LA Knight,
Thug Night.
Thug Knight, comes out of nowhere and accosts Tamatonga and quickly smashes him up against the door and then slams his arm into the car door, like opens the door and slams his arm in it, and then runs, hightails it away because Solo finally showed up, even though he's like 5 feet away.
Yeah. LA Knight popping up with some gang. Listen, that cracked me up.
It was
Like,
hilarious because he just came out and he was like, bop, bop, and
I'm
he was
like, okay.
"Ah."
All of a sudden, LA Knight is Suge Knight. Hey, him messing people up, slamming arms in the car door and then bouncing.
That makes Tama what, Vanilla Ice?
Oh
Even though
my
it's
God.
Solo that has the hair color for it. But yeah, it was full thug mode engaged. LA Knight was like a ninja. It was great.
Yeah.
And so that's how we get the ball rolling. And immediately we were like, well, maybe they do have something in store for us.
Yep. Look, that's the opener, yo. Like, the music is still kicking off. Tesseract is still talking. Like, he's still giving us the card for the night. And all of a sudden, while the music's rolling and the intros are happening, LA Knight rolls up. Rolls up, causes pain, and then bounces.
Yep. It was great. It was a really good, hot start. And then to keep things burning, because, he burns it down, our first segment sees Seth Rollins' music cue up, and he makes his way down to the ring.
I believe you mean the Reverend Seth Rollins.
Our Lord and Savior, Seth Rollins.
The Prophet Rollins decides to pop up on, come out into the ring to lay down some knowledge. And the audience is all about his song. Look, they were even screaming the burn it down part. Like they were about it. My man comes in looking like looking like just pick any wall from the Roman Catholic Church. Like just looking like looking like Michelangelo vomited all over him.
He's a visionary, a revolutionary, and a cathedral all in one.
all in one. Just one cathedral wall. He freaking comes in, he sits in the middle. He sits Indian style because people are like, CM Punk already. They're already starting with the CM Punk.
Oh yeah, yeah. He definitely deliberately evokes the pipe bomb from CM Punk's glory days. He
Yeah.
even takes the little microphone cover off, similar to how CM Punk did it. And so
Yeah.
he's sitting cross-legged, and the crowd is chanting. They hit him with both. They're like CM Punk, and then they go OTC, OTC,
And like,
and Seth's
we'll get to OTC in a second.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So he's saying, and I might do this one like close to verbatim because Seth said everything perfectly. Like this was one of the best promos ever in the history of ever. And so he starts out with Las Vegas. It ain't Monday, it's Friday, but I think it still works. Let's try it out. Welcome to Friday Night Rollins. And he says, "Yeah, I'm your host for the night. I'm a visionary revolutionary. I'm Seth freaking Rollins." And it was after that that he, drops down Indian style, sets the stage for doing a pipe bomb, and the crowd, of course, chants CM Punk followed by OTC. And on the end of the OTC chants, he says, "We'll get to the OTC in just a minute, but I would like to start with that guy whose name you were just chanting first." That's it, because they chant CM Punk again. That's the reason he came back to wrestling, right? Because all of you chanted his name for 10 long years. That's why he came back, right? Except when CM Punk came back to the ring, it wasn't a WWE ring. So did he come back because you guys were chanting his name, or did he come back because somebody wrote him a big fat check? Oh, snap. Big call out to Tony Khan over in
Just
AEW.
catching strays. Khan, I'm so sorry you just catching strays, buddy.
Catching the strays. And then he follows that by saying, but when he burnt that bridge, like he burns every other bridge, he did finally come back to the WWE after 10 long years. And was it because you guys chanted his name? No, it was because they wrote him another big fat check. CM Punk likes to pretend, and the crowd's, reacting, and he says, "Tell me when I'm telling lies."
Mm-hmm.
CM Punk loves to pretend that he came back for all of you. CM Punk doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about the WWE. He's a liar, he's a fraud, and he's a coward. And the crowd responds to that for a moment. And he says, "And say what you will about Roman Reigns, Mr. OTC. He doesn't even pretend to care about you guys. He doesn't even pretend to care about WWE. And you can believe that. The OTC only cares about the OTC. Roman Reigns
So
is in the
messy.
Roman Reigns business. He is. He's hitting all of the notes. He's Mr. Private Jet, Mr. Limited Schedule, Mr. Hand-picked opponents. Oh yeah, he loves that. He loves when you love him because the crowd at this point is chanting OTC. Or no, they were doing
Roman
Roman
Reigns,
Reigns. Yeah,
Roman Reigns. Yeah.
yeah. And Seth continues and he says, Roman Reigns knows nothing about sacrifice. CM Punk knows nothing about sacrifice. I know everything about sacrifice. And funny enough, this whole story between myself, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk, it started 12 years ago. And it started with Paul Heyman. That's the truth. Paul Heyman brought myself, Roman, and Dean Ambrose to WWE to be a shield for CM Punk. And every single night, I sacrificed everything I had in this ring to be that shield. And did I get any of the credit? Absolutely not, because everybody in the back wanted the cameras and the spotlight on Roman Reigns. It was always about Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is going to be the next John Cena. Roman Reigns is going to be the next cash cow for WWE. Look at Roman Reigns. Put the spotlight on Roman Reigns. And every single year this went along. And in the background, after CM Punk went away, taking his ball and going home, I heard little echoes of CM Punk chants. Meanwhile, I was making every show. I was in the ring every night, sacrificing everything that I had. And it all came to a head last year in the main event of WrestleMania when my knee was hanging on by a thread and my stepdad was at home dying of cancer. But I made sure I was there at the very end to be a shield, to make sure that Roman Reigns lost. This story between us started 12 years ago when Paul Heyman brought myself and Roman into WWE, and it ends tomorrow night in the most important triple threat match in the history of this industry. And I promise you, I'll do exactly what I've done for the past 12 years. I'll lay it all on the line. I'll sacrifice everything that I have to make sure that this business, this company, this industry moves forward in the right direction. And that's not a prediction, that's a spoiler. Followed by
Mic
maniacal Seth
drop.
laughter. Mic drop. Yeah, he tosses the mic after the laughter and does an explosion. So he just hit all of the notes. This couldn't have been a more perfect promo done by Seth Rollins. He is
Seriously.
the goat.
Yeah. I like if there were an awards ceremony for best wrestling promos of the year, this one is top contender. Holy smokes was this fire.
Yeah, I mean, literally, like this is the fire that he'll burn it down with at the beginning of his song every time he comes out.
Yeah, architect is correct. So yeah, it was fantastic. I remember being extremely giddy. Like I couldn't even keep still. I was so happy. Like because we were again, guys. This is the beginning of SmackDown, so we're like, okay, we weren't expecting much, and they get like we came to SmackDown expecting, this like it's Thanksgiving, and we got there at 9 p.m. We're expecting leftovers, some cold shit. We're not expecting fucking caviar and lobster and fucking surf and turf. And boy, like we were not expecting the full dining experience.
No, it's as if the WWE anticipated. They were like, well, WrestleMania is Saturday and Sunday, so everybody tuning into SmackDown is going to be like, yeah, there's nothing going to happen there because everybody's at WrestleMania, right? And they were like, let's surprise them. Let's hook them up with some real good shit. And that's exactly what we got.
I
Especially here at
mean,
this opener. This was a blaze to start SmackDown with. Like the
yeah,
hype train was real. And that hype train rolls right into the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal Station, which we find out is the first match of the night. So the
yeah.
fire keeps burning.
And here's who we got. Here's who we got in there. We got Ray Phoenix, Shinsuke Nakamura, R-Truth, Carlito, Tyler Bate, Akira Tozawa, Otis, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade El Idolo, Dragon Lee, Ludwig Kaiser, Julius Creed, Brutus Creed, Elton Prince, Hit Wilson, Santos Escobar, Berto, Berto,
Birdo.
Berto, Angel, Joaquin Wild, Cruz del Toro, Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, The Miz, Pete Dunne, Karrion Cross, and last but certainly not least, Chad Gable.
Huh.
Insanity in the ring.
I'm really surprised that we didn't have El Grande Americano in this match. It would have been a good opportunity to have Chad and Americano in the ring at the same time.
That's
Huh.
true. Yeah, that's true. But well, I mean, listen, El Grande Americano has a match, like for WrestleMania, and he's a champion. He's gonna take that shit seriously. So he's probably taking a rest until he is needed. He only comes out when there's a great injustice.
Super Grande. I get it. I'm on the page.
Yeah,
Besides, that might have been too much American for one ring at one time because you had American Made all in there already.
exactly. So, and he's also, I think he might be good friends with Chad Gable. Maybe he didn't want to steal his thunder.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, nah. He's thoughtful like that.
Yeah.
Good old
So,
El Grande Americano, the legend, the man, the myth, the legend.
yeah. Listen, I feel like you're being sarcastic, and I don't like that tone. Okay,
What? No.
El Grande Americano is the greatest luchador ever. That's it.
Hey, he's not just the greatest luchador. He's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, and you know how people fucking love sliced bread. So,
I mean, it revolutionized toast.
yeah, I feel like you're being really sarcastic. No,
What? No.
I feel like you're saying it, but you don't really mean it. Oh, let's lay out the order of eliminations, folks. First one out, Carlito. I think he got eliminated by R-Truth. And then R-Truth eliminated by The Miz.
Yep,
Uh,
yep, yep. And those were pretty early on, like
yeah,
quick.
yeah, with like the first minute or two. And then Berto was eliminated by Ray Phoenix.
Now,
Um,
real quick, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off, but I do want to interject here that while we were watching this play out, I was asking you questions like, who do you think this is for? Because usually the Andre the Giant Battle Royal is for someone who needs a push into the, coming up for the rest of maybe 2025 or
yeah,
for like someone new. And so we were eyeballing the participants and we're looking at it and we're like, well, maybe Andrade, right?
yeah,
Because we've heard through the grapevine of the internet wrestling rumor mill that Andrade's not super happy with how his booking's been. So we're like,
yeah,
maybe they give Andrade a push. And we were like, well, maybe Carmelo, right? Because we've often said, especially on this podcast, that it's like, what are they doing with Carmelo? Like he's
what
been
are they
buried since he
doing?
was like the first round draft pick.
Real talk.
Um, and then we saw Ray Phoenix, like he just showed up, and I'm like, well, Ray Phoenix could be a contender. Like, just give him some accolades right out the gate as he comes in, because he's kind of a big deal. Like
Yeah,
he and his brother Penta are like two of, and I say this with no hyperbole, two of the best luchadors on the planet performing right now.
yeah,
So he's
sure.
kind of a big deal. And so we were like, okay, we got those three. Well, who maybe would be the fourth? And I said Ludwig Kaiser because they've seemed like they've been on the edge of giving Ludwig a singles push, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so those were my four picks. And I just want to state that here because as you go through the eliminations, we'll see how my four picks hold up versus what really happened.
Okay, okay. Well, 3 and 4, Berto and Angel were both eliminated by Ray Phoenix.
A
El
twofer.
Tifer, Elton Prince was eliminated by Grayson Waller. Then Kit Wilson was eliminated by Austin Cheery. They worked together. Tyler Bate, thankfully, was eliminated by Ludwig Kaiser. Santos got eliminated by Ray Phoenix. Ray Phoenix was on a tear.
This was
Uh,
a good one. This one I want to speak to just real quick
yeah,
because
yeah,
Santos, after Ray Phoenix eliminated both Berto and Angel, Santos was very disappointed in them, and he tried to, show respect to Ray Phoenix and see if they could come to an agreement about how they could work together to win this thing. And immediately after Santos thought they came to an agreement, he turns his back to Ray Phoenix, who then tosses Santos out. And Santos looked super pissed off, and it was amazing. That's it. That's all I
yeah.
wanted to say there.
No, it was fantastic. I mean, like we're going. I'm gonna go through the names, but I mean, in no means am I trying to rush through this match because there were a lot of really good things that happened. It was very fun, especially towards the end once the ring got a little bit clearer and you could see more of the action. Things really started to pick up. Um, so where was I? Yeah, Kit Wilson was eliminated by Austin Theory. Tyler Bate by Ludwig Kaiser. Santos, Ray Phoenix. Akira Tozawa was eliminated by Brutus Creed. Julius Creed and Brutus Creed and Otis were all eliminated by Otis.
Yep. Otis.
He
For anybody
yeeted
that's
himself.
anyone confused about how Otis can eliminate himself, what had happened was after the Creeds picked on Akira, Otis fired up and he ended up with both Creeds up against the ropes, and he did a big running double clothesline, which took him and both Creeds completely out of the match. Like they flipped over the ropes, all of them, and that was that. And
Yeah.
then Otis proceeded to start kicking the crap out of the Creeds outside of the ring.
Yeah. He was like, well, since I'm not up there anymore, I'm just gonna beat the stuffing out of the two of you out here.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
Grayson Waller was eliminated by Andrade. Austin Theory eliminated by Andrade. And this is when we were really starting to see, um, like the actual like match, like how this match was gonna take place or how it was gonna play out because on Andrade started yeeting people out, then Ray Phoenix started yeeting people out, but then so did Shinsuke, right? So far, what Joshua had predicted, I felt was kind of happening. Andrade had just gotten Grayson Waller and Austin Theory out. Chad Gable was eliminated by Ray Phoenix. That's important.
And it will
Um,
come up again. Yeah.
yeah, Joaquin Wild was eliminated by Shinsuke Nakamura. Uh, excuse me. And then Karrion Cross, Karrion Cross had been having this weird thing with Miz too. Like I mean it's not weird, but like he kept yelling about how much he hated Miz or whatever that was going on in the match too. Uh, until Cruz eliminated him. Um, Karrion Cross. No, I'm sorry. Cruz got eliminated by Karrion Cross, and then Karrion Cross got eliminated by Dragon Lee. Uh,
Yep.
Dragon Lee was eliminated by Shinsuke Nakamura. Ludwig Kaiser was eliminated by Pete Dunne. The Miz was eliminated by Pete Dunne too. Uh, Pete Dunne was eliminated by Carmelo Hayes.
And there
Shinsuke
was
Nakamura.
there was
Go
a
ahead, go ahead.
little bit of a cool moment there.
Oh
Because
yes, yes.
Pete Dunne, when he eliminated Kaiser, was like, "Oh, there goes one of my picks." So I guess Ludwig's out. But then there was a portion where Pete turned his attention to Carmelo and was trying to eliminate him, and he did the whole finger torture thing that he likes to do to Carmelo, who was trying to hold on to the rope, and it damaged the hand he was holding on to the rope with, and it looked like Carmelo was going to get eliminated. But Miz was also on the apron when this was happening, and Miz grabs hold of Carmelo, and in a very un-Miz thing to do, instead of eliminating Carmelo himself, which is what the Miz would, I would think, typically do, he kind of uses all of his strength to throw Carmelo back in through the middle rope. And while Carmelo, sort of rolls to, back to a standing position, that leaves the Miz vulnerable on the top rope. Like he's hanging on the top rope outside on the apron. And that's when Pete Dunne eliminated the Miz. But it was only after the Miz made a sacrifice play to keep Carmelo in the match. And it was after that that Carmelo turns around and then eliminates Pete Dunne. It was a very cool moment in this match.
Yeah. And then that leaves us at that point with the last four. Or the last three. No, it's Shinsuke still in there, right? There's Shinsuke,
Yep.
there's Andrade, Carmelo, and is that
Ray
it?
Phoenix.
Ray Phoenix, yes. Uh, so now we have Pete Dunne eliminated by Carmelo Hayes, right? Then Shinsuke Nakamura eliminated by Andrade. Ray Phoenix was eliminated by El Grande Americano, who made a surprise showing,
Yep.
probably to avenge his friend Chad Gable, who was eliminated by Ray Phoenix. So Ray
Yeah.
Phoenix is on the top rope and he's about to do his little run across.
The
And
the
when
adios amigo kick.
yeah, and he even says it. And then while he's running like about halfway, Grande Americano jumps up on the rope there and like basically jumps up on the apron, grabs the rope, the top rope, and makes Ray slip. Then he grabs him, throws him down to the ground, or throws him down to the apron, eliminating him from the match.
Yep. Unfortunately, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, like most Battle Royals, is essentially a no DQ match. So this is completely valid. It still counts.
Yeah,
Unfortunately for Ray Phoenix.
yeah. Um, After that, he swiftly makes his leave into to the audience.
Quickly, yes, with alacrity did El Grande disappear.
Yes, he made his getaway. He took his leave, one might say. Uh, let's see. And then after that, uh, there was only Andrade and Carmelo left in the ring, and
Hmm.
there was a back and forth there for just a little bit that was really good.
Really
Um,
good between the two, and
yeah,
even the announcers referred back to that 7 series that Carmelo Andrade had uh, in 2024.
yeah,
So they made it real clear that these two men are very familiar with one another, which
yeah.
gave really good context to how Carmelo and Andrade were just answering each other's stuff. Like it was
Oh
attempt
my
to
God,
move
yeah,
counter, attempt to move counter, attempt to move counter. It was insane. This was a really good like segment between the two of them,
yeah.
and I'll let you you know finish if you'd like with like the amazing way that
No, go
Carmelo
ahead, please,
that
please.
it goes. Are you sure?
Yeah,
Okay. So after a tremendous back and forth, there's a point that it looks like Carmelo's going to attempt to do a middle rope dive on Andrade. And as we had seen, if you were familiar with their clashes in the past, um, then you would be aware of what was potentially going to happen next because Andrade runs up and also jumps to the middle rope. So they're both standing there. And in the past, this had led to essentially a middle rope Spanish fly by Andrade onto Carmelo. But in this instance, Carmelo, again, reflecting that these two have become very acquainted with one another's move sets, Carmelo jumps down from the middle rope very quickly, grabs hold of Andrade's ankle, and completely flips him over the top rope and out of the ring with prejudice, leaving us with Carmelo Hayes as the winner of the 2025 Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
yeah. And that was listen, that was a really great match. It was really fun in there at the end between him and Andrade. Carmelo, oh God, that was so good. It was so good. Finally, we get an answer to who would win that because they were, I think, weren't they even somehow?
Actually, I think the way it was left
Or what?
off was Andrade was up a little bit. So coming into these final two, it was like, oh man, last time Andrade, I think, had answers for Carmelo. So it was a pleasant surprise that Carmelo actually was the one that had an answer for Andrade.
Yeah. And I think this
And
is also a really good storytelling of watching what we're supposed to understand as improvement from Carmelo through the teachings or training of the Miz. This
yeah,
is great storytelling, and they've done this before in a match with Carmelo, doing something or listening to something that the Miz told him to do and winning the match. Like, so I am loving this character development. I'm loving where they're
yeah,
going
yeah,
here with this. Keep the party rolling, and I even like the fact that afterwards, after the match, the Miz could be seen hyping up Carmelo while he sat next to his trophy, his newly acquired trophy.
yeah.
Oh, I like this whole vibe. Like at first I was like, but now Mello don't miss. I'm kind of here for it.
Yeah, and on this particular evening, Mello did not miss, and they were Oz him.
Yeah.
And for the record, out of my 4 picks, I got 3 of them right, and who ended
Yeah,
up being the finals in the ring.
you did.
I picked Ludwig. They went with Shinsuke.
Yeah, and
Fair enough.
I didn't make a pick until the last four were there. Uh, and I said Carmelo out of all of them, although we both agreed that if uh Andrade had won, we would be okay with that too.
Yeah, because
Because by the
both.
time we got there, this match had been so damn good.
Yeah,
And everybody they looked so good now. It's like, man, it doesn't matter, man. You're doing God's work right now. This is fantastic. Like, it doesn't matter at this point.
yeah. Seriously, the last few moments of this match between Andrade and Carmelo were excellent, and some other stuff that took place in the match made me realize that I absolutely would like to see an Andrade El Idolo versus Rey Fenix match. I think that would
Hmm.
be amazing.
Although I think the new focus might be El Grande for Rey Fenix.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
I guess it all depends on the WrestleMania match. It all depends on how that plays out, right? Where they go with this. So we'll see.
Well, there is some outside information, some news through the internet rumors mill. There's some speculation that uh, in a later match that we will take place as we continue this review of SmackDown, one Rey Mysterio may have sustained an injury. So who El Grande
Ah,
Americano ends up facing at WrestleMania might be subject to change. But that's rumor and speculation.
yeah,
Um, but yes, a fantastic Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and congratulations to Carmelo Hayes. Well done, and
hmm,
well done to everybody involved. It was a fantastic Battle Royal.
yeah,
Uh, some really good spots throughout. I think everybody who performed in it looked good. Um, just a great way, and this SmackDown that has been fire, since it began is still rolling.
yeah,
Which brings us to our next segment, which is Wade Barrett discussing how he had an opportunity earlier in the week to sit down and speak with one Charlotte Flair.
yeah. And okay, so you guys, I'm not gonna do the verbatim thing, but I will tell you that there really, really wouldn't be much for me to s- to read. She gave a nothing answer to his question. So, um, he said when you, which you then okay. So basically, he's talking to her about the first the horrible promo, or the horrible uh debacle in the ring between her and Tiffy, like what, 2 weeks ago or so. Um, he started with that. Um, and then she was like, yeah, 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 and then he brings up that she got sent home uh from the arena by management, and she said, yeah, not the first time that has happened. But then he says, which you then returned and attacked Tiffy once again. So tell us why things have got so ugly between the two of you. And essentially her answer was, um, they both have like chips on their shoulders. Um, and at this point, people are now really invested in this WrestleMania match. Um, and if there's anything that matters the most, it's that to her, it's that people tune in to see Charlotte at WrestleMania. Um, and like, regardless of what happened, people are gonna tune in to see that match. Um, and I think she ended it with, sometimes this business can be insensitive, but that's how you get tough skin, and that's how you make it. Like, that's, I mean, so she kind of gave an answer, but then she kind of didn't. She kind of danced around it.
Yeah,
It was a very politician's politician's answer.
Yeah, she didn't really address how things got so ugly between the two of them. She glossed
No.
over it. She was like, "Well, I don't love that it went there, but we've moved past it, and what's important is that people are really invested in this match, and that's all that really matters." And so, yeah, she didn't really address the question. She sort of like redressed it and said, "Here's the important thing. People are interested in this match.
Yeah.
There you go." So,
And respect. She might not
yep.
want to talk about it, and that's cool. Um, I wouldn't blame her. What not a proudest moment, and that's on camera. That's gonna be there forever. So I can dig it. Excuse me.
Yeah. Now, I don't know. I don't know how in touch with the pulse of the general viewing audience I am on this one because for me, I didn't feel like it made me more invested in the match.
No.
I don't know if it did that for you, but maybe for folks that like they watch Jerry Springer and that kind of thing, like that kind of lowbrow crap, it didn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
It felt throwback. It felt catty. It didn't feel like it was about who's the best wrestler. It felt like catty bitch shit from the diva days, which I thought the women's division was trying to move away from.
Yeah.
Especially, it felt that way. Especially, I think it added to it that you had both women out there dressed in like BDSM and negligees when it happened. So it felt like a real throwback to the worst parts of the women's division during the Attitude Era and before. Um, so for me personally, that didn't enhance the match. Um, but maybe I don't represent the general viewing audience in that. I don't know. Maybe that kind of trash, programming worked on a lot of people. I don't know. I have my opinions about it clearly. So if somebody who's listening is one of those people that it did something for you, hey, we can agree to disagree. It didn't do anything for me.
Yeah. Um. Like it's not my. It's I feel like uh that particular type of heat, quote unquote heat, is really beneath both both performers.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree. I feel like we're saying
so
similar.
yeah, it's just not my cup of tea. And I feel like all of it was staged, and um, literally what we'll talk about it whenever it comes up, but it literally what I said Tiffany did 2 weeks ago to get rid of that quote unquote promo she was cutting on Charlotte, is exactly what she admitted to doing. So it just wasn't it wasn't my cup of tea. It too much of a Mean Girls vibe. Like she fucking like got online and listened to Alanis Morissette while she looked for while she looked for fucking dirt on Charlotte Flair. And I'm like, whatever. That's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah. Um, and there's been a lot of videos on like the Wrestle YouTube and such that are talking about how the build up to WrestleMania hasn't been that good. I don't know that I agree with that writ large. I'm actually really pretty hyped for WrestleMania. Uh, but I
I'll
think this would be an example where I don't think the build up was very good. Like for this match, this is probably unfortunately one of the matches that I'm probably least interested in on the card.
Yeah, I can give them I'll give them the first half of the WrestleMania hype train. I wasn't on board for it. It was kind of boring, kind of sluggish. When I like once John Cena attacked Cody Rhodes, it just kind of went downhill from there. Like the attack was awesome. But even
The f-
before that, even
yeah.
before that, the promos that The Rock was cutting were fucking like discombobulated snoozers, man.
Yeah,
Like
that's a
how
fair point.
they
Yeah,
made
yeah.
they made me fucking bored and sleepy and confused. So like I didn't even know what to do with myself.
A
Um,
potent combination.
yeah, seriously, like I'm like, am I gonna pass out or get angry? I don't know. Um,
Sleepy rage.
Yeah, sleepy rage, bro. That's not good. You wake up, your blood pressure's all high. Nobody needs that shit. So, uh, it just wasn't my cup of tea. So yeah, if that's what they're remembering, whether subconsciously or not, then yeah, it fucking sucked at the beginning there. And then John
Yeah.
Cena, we were like, oh, thank God, John Cena, he will save us all. No, he does not. He comes out with more incoherent cat. He sounded like an old fucking confused cat that just got put into a room that was repainted. Those were John Cena's promos, bro. Like, what the fuck are you saying right now?
Yeah,
He's
that's
yelling
fair.
at the audience. He's yelling at the ring. He's pointing his finger at the fucking post. Like he's just mad at everything. And nobody was into that either. So yeah, the first half of this was fucking ass cheeks.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's where the weight of it is if you're looking at like the Rock Cody Cena triangle,
Lord of
you're right.
mercy.
Ever since the Rock kind of had come back and was telling Cody he wants his soul,
Yeah.
everything leading up to the attack at Elimination Chamber was
And
ass cheeks. I agree
yeah.
with you. And the
Yup.
two promos after with John Cena, like, oh, I'm the multimillionaire, super famous victim. Yeah, that was ass. They did eventually pull it out,
Yeah.
but I agree with that. So if that's what people are talking about, like the buildup,
I
but
mean, we could even go back to the beginning, for the build up between Gunther and Jay. Even that was kind of slow going at first. Uh, I was like, yeah, okay, Jay has had like 3 matches with him and he's gotten close, but yeah, no. And then they had him slip in and go, but eventually they put all that shit together and they told a good story there. And that's, I feel like, the case for all of these WrestleMania like setups that have been happening for the past 2 or 3 months or so. Now I think they got them all together and they've made them a bit more cohesive, and I'm excited for most of the matches that are coming up today and tomorrow because of that.
yeah, I would put a delineation personally. I would say like I'm okay with a slow buildup, but what people are saying is that it was ass cheeks. And I'll agree if we're talking about like what you just said about The Rock and Cody Rhodes and Cena. But I thought the build into the triple threat with CM Punk, Seth, and Roman, fantastic. The build to what's going on with Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill, fantastic. And those were all slow burns because Jade Cargill like got thrown into that car grill like midway through 2024
Yeah,
till just like
seriously.
a month or so ago.
Yeah.
So that's been building for some time, and I actually appreciated the way that they kind of did the story about how Gunter kept getting into Jay's head to the point where he's now screwing up in the ring, and then Jimmy sets him straight, and then Jimmy gets taken out. I was here for that. I thought that was fantastic. I didn't think that was too slow. Um, the build into Rhea, Io, and Bianca. So I mean, like, there's a lot of matches that I'm very heavily interested in, but I'm not going to throw the entire build of WrestleMania under the bus because Cody Rhodes, Cena, and Rock like had
No,
a
no, no,
weak as
no,
shit, terrible start. That's not
no.
the only match that I'm interested in, and some of these have been beautiful, like the heel turn by Naomi and her new proceed with caution kind of a thing is mind-blowingly awesome.
Yeah.
Like that is
Our
so
outfits are
good.
crazy. Like, I
Yeah.
am here for everything Evil Cakes has.
So if you're looking at WrestleMania through a lens of all that mattered was Cody, Cena, Rock, then yeah, I guess you could say that the build up to WrestleMania blew donkey chunks because that whole shit was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But that isn't what I view as the entirety of what's on the card at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And a lot of what else is there, I think I'm really hyped for. So I don't think that WrestleMania's buildup was blown. They might have blown some key spots. Like it, I will agree with anyone who says it's tremendously disappointing that two of the most well-known mic guys in the business, John Cena and The Rock, had the shittiest promos. I'll agree all day. I'll be the
Yeah.
first one on the front lines wondering what drugs is The Rock on and how do we get him off of them? You know, because his promos have completely turned to butt cheeks. And I mean, I get the idea that they're playing heels, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think you need like this level of welfare bombing to put over Cody. If you do, then maybe Cody isn't the guy.
Yeah.
If you have to bury Cena and The Rock this hard. So I agree. If that's all you're looking at, if that was the major thing for you about this WrestleMania, and that's what you're basing it on, then yeah, I could see how you get there. But that
Yeah.
for me is not the sum and total of this WrestleMania. It's not even the match I'm most excited to see, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Truth.
Speaking of those fantastic women that I just mentioned, that brings us to a segment involving Rhea Ripley and we briefly see her in the backstage, and then I think they cut to a commercial break, and then they come back, and we hear, "This is my brutality," and it's like, oh man, here comes Rhea. She's gonna be super upsetty spaghetti, and she makes her way to the ring, and full entrance, everybody's popping for mommy, and she gets into the ring, she grabs a mic, and she proceeds to say that Sunday will mark her sixth WrestleMania. And she says, each time I've stepped into some sort of championship match, but honestly, this one is probably the most important to me because it's true, you know. I let myself get distracted by Bianca. I lost my women's world championship before WrestleMania, just like a couple of weeks before WrestleMania, and
Yeah.
that's my bad. So, you know, I'm not going to, but I could be coming out here right now to talk about how the last few, to talk about the last few weeks, complain, moan, make excuses. But I'm not going to do that because there's no point in talking about the past anymore. Sunday, I get back what I want and I do what I have to do. Rhea Bloody Ripley is walking out of WrestleMania, your 3-time Women's World Champion. And, of course, this is the signal flare for the current Women's World Champion, one Io Sky, to make her way down to the ring. And Io makes her way into the ring. She looks like she's about to get her hands on a microphone, but before she can even say one thing, all alone against the wall, Bianca Belair's
I'm on
music
my
kicks
own
out.
against the wall.
and and
uh,
and she makes her way down to the ring and she grabs a microphone and she proceeds to say,
So y'all two thought y'all was gonna come on SmackDown, drop my name, and I wasn't gonna show up? No. Yeah, that was it. That was Bianca.
"Yeah,
I was definitely showing up tonight. Yeah, I'm showing up tonight because it could be my last night on SmackDown for a while. Because after WrestleMania, I'm walking out as champion. And after what y'all two done put me through, I'm not planning on letting it go anytime soon. That's all she could say.
yeah."
Because
But you know what definitely didn't show up? The rest of her outfit. Bianca came to the ring wearing what amounted to an oversized Hawaiian lei. She had little red flowers and it just kind of covered the middle. I ain't complaining, mind you. I was just surprised and wondering where the rest of the outfit was.
and her outfit didn't finish resin. Not. And I was like, well, I could restart the game, or I could just let things happen.
And things did happen because after that,
We get
a very
KB.
unexpected. Yep.
So you finally decided to show up to SmackDown, and you ain't even gonna try to talk to me? I
You're
filled up your
surprised.
voicemail box. Yeah, yeah,
We're
Naomi.
surprised by the appearance of caution cakes.
Caution cakes. She's filled up Bianca's voicemail box. She's been calling her like crazy, texting her. And she knows she got it because it said delivered.
Such a
And
stalker.
if their friendship means so little to them, or uh did, I think she asked if their friendship really meant that little to her. Um Cakes pointed out that she didn't even want to do this. Um and have everybody in their business. She wanted to handle it in private, but she was getting ignored. So then Bianca starts to have a breakdown, and she's like telling her, "No, we're not doing this, Naomi. You know exactly why I'm not responding. You know what you did. Uh, uh, and I said what I said, and I meant it. So we're not doing this right now." And Naomi was like, "You care that much about Jade, huh?" Bianca says it's not even about Jade. Uh, and Naomi yells that Jade wasn't there for her, not like Naomi was. And that tomorrow she was gonna finish what she started with Jade. And after that, but before she could say anything or finish that sentence, Jade Cargill's music cuts in, and she makes a beeline to the ring. Um, and Naomi kind of gets out of the ring. She rolls out of the ring when Jade rolls into it. And Jade for some reason gets in Bianca's face.
Yeah, yeah,
Saying things like, so like you, I can't believe you choosing her or picking her or something like that.
yeah.
And
That was a bit of an extreme reaction from Jade when all Bianca did was kind of like put her hands up and was between like Jade and Naomi.
that was they weren't gonna do this. And she even said, "You know what you did." So I'm not sure why Jade came out and started accusing um Bianca of betrayal. I don't know. But then Rhea gets into Jade's face, and the crowd loses it because I mean I was losing it. I'm like, oh
Oh
man.
yeah.
She gets into her face and she goes, Jade, this isn't about you, it's about me. But then Naomi comes back in because she's sneaky cakes. She comes back
Yeah.
in and she shoves Jade into Rhea and Rhea into Bianca, and that just makes everybody lose their shit. Meanwhile, the champion is just standing there looking at this calamity like, what the actual fuck is that? She ain't had a chance to say nothing yet. So
Nope, not a thing.
now everybody's out there just fucking tearing at each other. Um, I think security and all that starts coming out. Uh, and they all end up outside on the apron. And it's just a mass of people. And Io gets on the top, and she wipes everybody out with the what is it called? She does a moonsault.
The over the moonsault.
Yeah, she does over the moonsault and wipes everybody out, and that closes that segment.
Yep, leaving
But
Io the last one standing, laughing maniacally as she carries her championship away from all these bickering women who
yeah,
keep losing. You know, if they keep taking their eyes off the prize, Io's coming out of WrestleMania with that championship belt.
yeah, and I think she might. I think she might. I mean, to be perfectly honest, she is probably the one who deserves to the most right now. Um, like these ladies have severely lost focus. Naomi has lost her entire mind. Like,
Insanity cakes.
yeah, insanity cakes.
I'm super here for this. Like
Oh
I
God,
love
yes.
all of this. And you know my crazy predictions for this match. Like I was like there's two theories prevailing here. Like because it's a three-way dance, it's a triple threat match. There's no DQ, right?
Hmm.
So we could get all kinds of interference. So I had predicted interference from Damage Control. And I also predicted interference from Naomi. And the fact that Naomi showed up here during this segment to interfere with what Bianca was trying to do
Yeah. No, no,
makes me think that it might not be too far off.
you have been calling it, so I don't
So-
think I don't think I'd be too surprised if she pops out, and sometimes you gotta pop out and show people, you know what I mean?
I do. Because none of these ladies are proceeding with caution.
Yeah.
So we shall see. But I am like Charlotte was talking about being invested in matches. I am super invested in what's happening with Jade and Naomi and this triple threat for the women's title.
Yeah.
Like this, I am super here for. Like, this is one of the matches that I'm most interested in seeing on the WrestleMania card. So I can't wait. I gotta know. I gotta know how Naomi factors in. I want to know which one of these three amazing champion caliber women ends up coming away with the championship belt. This one I'm way into. Way
Yeah.
into.
Me too. I'm here for it. I'm that's my favoriteest phrase apparently. But no, I'm definitely here for this one versus the Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton match, which my energy I'm just not here for it. Um so yeah, it versus that, like, it's a completely different thing for this one. I'm
Mm.
really really excited about this match.
Yeah, interest is high for this one for
Yeah.
me, and it sounds like for you.
And all three of these ladies can go in the ring. So yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I expect a crazy match.
Yep.
Um, And I mean, WrestleMania is known for surprises. I mean, we've got all kinds of things that could pop out of anywhere. I mean, I know they said it's later on we'll get a segment, but it's being advertised that we can expect to see Alistair. No, is it Alistair or Malachi here? I think it's
I don't
Alistair here.
know.
Alistair
Yeah.
Black returning to the WWE on 425. They've advertised that date directly now. But what if he shows up a little sooner? So, but
Yeah.
I'll explore some of those speculations. But I expect some great surprises out of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I think 41. If people thought the buildup was bad, I think you're going to be surprised by a hell of a show nonetheless. I think it's going to be good. I'm
I do
excited
too.
for it. So, um, but yeah, that was a fantastic segment. And I mean, we keep seeing the telegraphing is that you take your eyes off of EO and EO beats your ass, and then you're left wondering how did that happen? Where did she come from? And she's just prancing and dancing her way back to the back with her championship belt. So that it's a very real possibility that that's exactly how it plays out. Although
Yeah.
there's so many options and opportunities for this to be very messy and dramatic. So I'm super hyped for it.
Yeah.
Um Following that outstanding segment, again SmackDown is on fire. Um we're taken to the back where you see Ray Phoenix kind of recovering from, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. He's leaned up against some of the storage boxes, and Chad Gable with American Made shows up, and he's making fun of Ray Phoenix in the backstage area, and espousing the awesomeness that is El Grande Americano. And it's at this point that Dragon Lee shows up because, you know, he just happened to be in earshot, and he shows up and he stands up for Ray Phoenix, and Gable, he says, "Look, I'm not going to put up with this slander regarding the great and mighty El Grande Americano." And that's when Rey Mysterio shows up. And they bicker for a little bit before um, and Ray goes on to say that El Grande is going to learn about real lucha libre because he is a blight on the honor of lucha libre everywhere. Uh, but it descends into a brief bit of what seems like Chad Gable equivocating and petty bickering before Ray says, "Hey, there's three of you, there's three of us. How about we settle this in the ring?" And Ray says he's going to go talk to Nick Aldis. And of course, this ends up later in the evening becoming a 6-man tag team match. The one where aforementioned Rey Mysterio may have received an injury, but we shall see.
Yeah.
That does, however, lead us into our second match of the night, which is the championship match for the WWE tag team, men's tag team, with the Street Profits versus the Motor City Machine Guns. And what were your thoughts on this match?
Was actually pleasantly surprised. Uh, they first of all, they don't make Motor City Machine Guns behave like super faces. These dudes can kind of wrestle a tad bit dirty, but I like that. Like I mean, I think they started out. I think they started the match out by attacking first. I don't even think the Street Profits had made it into the ring yet.
Yep.
And they were giving them sliding kicks or some shit. Um, like sliding drop kicks or some shit. So I don't know what the name of the move was, but just looking at what they did, it looked like a sliding drop kick or like a sliding kick to the face or midsection. Um, like both of them at the same time. So like they want the smoke. Like they clearly want the smoke.
Yeah, I think they hit him with a couple of baseball slide drop kicks at the bottom and then proceeded to just start pounding on him. So, like, the match hasn't even started, and the machine guns are like, hey, we're not screwing around.
Yeah, all the smoke, please, right now. So they get into the ring. They all get into the ring. The bell sounds. And this match is actually a banger. It's going good, so good that I am very upset when it is interrupted. Um, because the Street Profits and Motor City Machine Guns, whose names I do know, I just like to call the group different names because it's funny. But I'm gonna give them props. I'm gonna give them props today because this was a really good showing from both teams.
Yeah.
And they work really well together. I this match, I was so invested in this match that I would like for them to have another match. I would like to see them in action again because they look really good together. And Motor City, they have their little move set. I really like their move set. You can tell that these two dudes have been working together for a very long time. So they got this shit down.
Yeah.
Um, and they're sharp, man. They are crispy as hell. So they or at
Extra
least they
crispy.
or at least they were Friday night. They were crispy as shit last night. So that was good. Um, it was
Hear that?
real good,
They're
man.
now the Motor Crispy machine guns.
Yeah, they were fucking snappy like turtles, baby. Like they were on it. Um, however, if unless you want to talk about any of the moves, I was just gonna get into how it was fucking inevitably.
No,
Uh,
the only thing I would say would be that everybody got to hit some of their high spots as a team.
yeah,
The Motor City Machine Guns came with the missile drop kick flatliner combination. They also managed to get the facial off against the Profits. The Profits got several of their tag team maneuvers off. I think they were even able to get the electric chair blockbuster off. But unfortunately, as you mentioned, it was interrupted before Motor City was able to. They were going for Skull and Bones, But that gets interrupted, and before we could get too much further past that, well, I don't want to steal your thunder. You mentioned the interruption. Do you want to
Oh
let
yeah, it's
everybody
not.
know what happened?
It's not thunder. It's a couple of farts. A couple of farts called DIY. Um, that came in and interrupted the party. Because they're treasure trolls and someone has destroyed their bridge and they don't have anything else to fucking guard. So they came out of nowhere, attacked everybody, and then took the belts and ran like a couple of little fucking treasure trolls, stealing
Yep.
something and running.
Yep.
Like they came in like it was nighttime and their owners were asleep and they were coming in to finish off all those boots, all those fucking shoes, and then light came on and they scurried. So that's a real stoner's way of saying that they were like little gnomes.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I realize that this is to set up what we inevitably find out comes to pass, but I was real annoyed after such a banger of a match, like such a good match between these two teams. Like it was a
Yeah,
great showing of the Profits and it was an amazing showing of Motor City Machine Guns. Both teams were on fire.
yeah,
And so it really, like, as a fan, I was like, "Oh god damn it!" You know, when DIY showed up to interfere,
yeah.
I was
I
like,
even, I
"Oh
even, I
come
even
on!"
think, yeah, that's right. I was about to say, I even think you said that. Like you were extremely, like, put it like, oh, come on. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
in that,
yep,
because honestly, guys, honestly, we were into it. We were like, man, this is a good match. And then, you know, DIY was like, are you sure about that?
yeah. It was good until it wasn't. You know what I mean? So it was
Yeah,
like, oh no. So going forward, I think the tag team belts are going to just have to be defended in nothing but cage matches because I'm so sick of tag championship matches being third partied.
yeah, please and thank you. But
So,
because of disqualification,
yep,
tag team champions are still Street Profits.
indeed. Um, and we end up seeing we're left wondering, like, so is the angle going to be that Champa and uh Gargano are just stealing the belts? I mean,
Yeah, because they just
that's
they
where
took
we're
them
at
and
with it.
ran. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
so like you know you don't get to keep the belts when you do that, right? So but before we find out what inevitably happens to the Grand Theft tag team belts, we are taken to a brief segment in the back where Chelsea Green would like to file a formal complaint with one Nick Aldis to address the travesty, the absolute miscarriage of justice that occurred last week. And she literally has a formal complaint. Like she came prepared. Like she went to Karen school, did her homework, came back, had a formal complaint, which she handed, I believe, to her secret Hervis, which were also there, much to the great, absolute pleasure of Nick Aldis. And she hands it to Alba, who then hands it to Piper, who then hands it to Nick, who and Nick then proceeds to take a brief look at it. And he goes on to say that he agrees an injustice took place last week. And this is all in reference to the countout that happened in the match that she had last week with Zelina Vega, the match that was kind of a nothing burger. And her position is that that ref had a fast count. Nick Aldis' position is that it really just sort of deprives Zelina Vega of her championship opportunity. And so his solution is that Zelina Vega will have another match with Chelsea later on this evening, and that the Secret Hervis are banned from ringside because it's a singles competition. And this, of course, leaves Chelsea Green absolutely super angry Karen, and she is like, "No, that's not fair," and it's hilarious. Chelsea Green is a treasure. She is comedic gold, and she can actually go in the ring if they let her. Um, Fun segment.
Yeah.
But
Also true.
following on from that, we have Nick Aldis uh, teleporting from his office into the almost it's like the transition area between like the backstage into the parking lot. And uh, he shows up with several members of security to stop DIY from leaving the arena. And he says he's not playing any games, that DIY are not the tag team champions, and that they need to turn over those belts ASAP. But before he can get those belts away from them, along come the Street Profits. And the Profits are ready to like throw down in the parking lot.
They would like a
They're ready.
continuation of that smoke.
Yeah. They have not gotten their fill of the smoke and would like more. And on the heels of the Profits are the Motor City Machine Guns, and it looks like it's about to turn into super chaos. And Nick
And
Aldis
yeah,
pretty much tells
hey,
everyone to
there
shut the hell up.
he is not here for it.
Not at all. And he turns to Gargano and Champa and says, "So hard way or easy way, boys." And they clearly didn't want that smoke. They don't want the manager of SmackDown smoke.
Yeah.
So they
Oh my
reluctantly
god.
hand the
Oh.
titles to Aldis, and Aldis takes the titles. And he didn't turn around and hand them to the Street Profits. He takes the titles and he says he's had enough of this nonsense. And next week on SmackDown, the Profits will put the tag team titles on the line against DIY and Motor City Machine Guns in a TLC match. So presumably he's going to hang on to those titles, which will be hanging at the top above the ring
Yeah.
for that TLC match.
In which I was thinking, or you could just give the Street Profits their well-earned belts the fuck back. Maybe you can do that.
Indeed.
You ever gave that a try? You ever thought about that, Nick? Nick? You ever thought maybe you could just let them have their belts back since they won them fair and square? You ever thought that maybe you wanna let them have their belts back?
I'm
Just saying.
pretty sure that's what the Profits were thinking.
I'm just saying. I mean, they were their belts, and they did still own those belts after the disqualification took place. So I'm just bro. So maybe you wanna give them their belts back since they are
That's
their belts.
that's a super fair point. But just when I thought my heart was racing from the intensity of this particular SmackDown, because it's been good, my heart comes to an abrupt stop because the life is scared out of me. Because we cut to Cardi B in the most close up of close ups that a close up can be,
Like,
without it being
man,
on
the
like
camera
incredible
was
shot. Like I thought she was gonna accidentally eat our faces. They were so close.
and then it'd be like, you died.
Yeah,
Popped up on
seriously.
the screen, like.
Dark Souls, you died. Yeah, I mean, they were as close to Cardi B as you can get without it becoming like potentially an assault
Yeah.
charge. It was
We were
so much
both like, whoa, what's happening?
like I don't need the topographical detail of the interior of Cardi B's nasal passage like this was giving me. It
Listen,
was too much.
she popped up on the screen and I ducked. Okay, like I didn't know what was I didn't know what was happening. I was like, what?
Seriously.
I didn't know
You
what
know
was
those
taking place. I
videos?
was like, whoa, buddy, what?
Yeah, you know those videos on YouTube where like surprisingly like the baseball or the basketball comes flying straight towards the screen? That was Cardi B's face for this. I was like, "Oh, I jumped."
Seriously, no! I'm like, I'm ducking, bro. Oh my god, what's happening? I don't know how this fucking voodoo is taking place, but I don't want my face eaten.
Yeah, and this was all in
Not
the
before
service of,
WrestleMania,
yeah, really, we got to have our faces to watch WrestleMania, dude.
please.
Um, so this was all in the service of letting us know that Cardi B will be hosting this year's SummerSlam PLE at the MetLife Stadium August 2nd and 3rd. And I'm like, you could have just flashed some words on the screen with a normal sized picture, but they were like, nah, you got to see like 3D Cardi B. And I was like, ah. So
Yeah,
heart stopped.
yeah. Nightmare fuel.
Fortunately, we were able to recover for the next segment, which sees one Viper, Randy Orton, making his way to the ring. And would you like to talk to Randy's promo? I feel like I've been doing a lot of the talking, so I'll give you a turn.
Sure. He was big mad. That he doesn't have he doesn't have an opponent for WrestleMania 41. Um, and he also reiterated this is a very important WrestleMania for him. This would be his 20th WrestleMania. Um, essentially doing this for 20 years. Um, and uh he needed an opponent. So he's gonna throw out he's gonna throw something out to the universe. He was gonna let, I guess, the universe decide, because he's gonna show up Sunday, boots tied up, gear on, with just the right amount of baby oil on his skin. And he's gonna be locked and loaded and ready to deliver for you the WWE universe. We, the WWE universe. Uh, and he's not just doing this for himself. He's doing it for us. He's doing it for his family, and he's doing it for the boys in the back. But as far as excuse me, but as far as the boys in the back are concerned, anybody in the locker room that wants to test their mettle, he's daring them to step up. Anybody out in the strip, any of you, like, he's like the audience members, man. He was like, if you want a pair of wrestling boots, hell, if you just catch the win that the legend killer Randy Orton needs an opponent for WrestleMania 41, I challenge you to step up, because he's gonna be there Sunday at the stadium, in the ring, ready to go. But know this: anyone who does that will be met, and they will fall victim to the three most dangerous letters in sports entertainment: RKO.
Oh, snap. Let me go get my
So,
wrestling boots. I don't know if I
you.
can make it to Vegas in time, but I ain't gotta win the match. I just gotta be in it
You just
with
gotta
Randy.
be.
There
Yeah,
you
you just
go.
gotta lace up and be there.
Hey, hey, I will eat a double helping of the mat as he RKO's me into the thing. I'm cool. I'll be like, hey, I was at
Somebody.
WrestleMania 41.
How, how much you want to bet there's gonna be at least one sign in the audience that says, "I'm here to fight Randy Orton"?
Oh, that's gonna be amazing. I would love it.
It's gonna be at least
But
one. There's at least one. But who do you think? Who do you think is gonna show up for this?
I have no earthly idea because there's so many options, right?
You said
Like
somebody last night
I
that I
had
think. Go ahead. Go ahead.
you think might could be the case.
Might could be the case. I mean, wishful thinking. Maybe I'm just hoping, but mayhaps.
Well, they have a lot of folks on the roster
Yeah.
that haven't been seen for a while. So it could be any number of opponents. It could be new signees that haven't debuted yet. Like I just got finished saying earlier in this podcast, they said the date that Aleister Black was coming back, but maybe he could show up early. So we could end up with an Aleister Black Randy Orton match. I heard through the grapevine that they re-signed Rusev. Rusev could show up.
Hmm.
It could be someone that's on the roster. It could be somebody that's signed, hasn't shown up. It could be god dang Joe Hendry. I believe.
Yeah, true, true.
So, I would be here for it, right? Because Joe Hendry at the Rumble, he was all like, hey, I got some smoke for even Roman Reigns. So if that gave us an opportunity to see some Joe Hendry, I'd be here for it. But if I had to base it on certain probabilities, I would love to see Joe Hendry, by the way. Like that just came to me and I was like, dude, that would be awesome. However, we also have not seen the Celtic Warrior in a few minutes.
Yeah.
And a surprise Celtic Warrior Randy Orton match would be fire.
I am in absolute agreement. I'd love to see
So
that.
there's a lot of folks it could be. I'm thinking potentially it's Sheamus because why not? And those two could put on a banger. I think they have great chemistry together. It might not be as outlandish or interesting as some of the other names that I just threw out there. So I hope I didn't deflate that it could probably be the Celtic Warrior by throwing
Yeah.
out all these other really interesting possibilities,
I'm
such as
I'm yeah,
Joseph Hendry.
yeah. I'd be into either one of them, honestly. But I did get when you mentioned Sheamus, I did get a little excited about it. There was a little ear perk up. So I wouldn't mind seeing him. I don't because I don't know where he's been. I don't know where he went, but
Yeah,
you know,
I feel like he made a big comeback only to make a big disappearance again. It's like, where's Sheamus?
yeah. What's Sheamus doing?
Where the Great White at?
Yeah, yeah,
So that could be an excellent opponent for Randy Orton. It doesn't even need to be like a grudge match. It's just two grizzled wrestling veterans leaving it all in the ring for the sake of a hell of a performance at WrestleMania 41.
yeah.
I'm here for it. But suffice it to say, they did not reveal the opponent. So for now, Randy Orton has a mystery match with a mystery opponent at WrestleMania 41. Hopefully. Unless he just shows up laced up and nobody else comes out. That would be unfortunate.
That'd be weird.
Awkward.
This is awkward.
Exactly. However, I do think somebody's going to be catching an RKO at WrestleMania 41. I predict that. You could even call it a spoiler. Moving on from Randy Orton's promo, we get a video recap of the Drew McIntyre Damian Priest saga and their brawl that happened earlier in the day at the WrestleMania 41 kickoff event, where Damian Priest accosts Drew McIntyre on the stage and runs him off. And Priest goes on to tell Brian Sextant that he's done taking questions about WrestleMania. He just wants to send a direct message to Drew, the same guy who didn't bother to show up at SmackDown, the same guy that's been trying to tell the world that he's a victim. He says, Drew, you're not a victim yet. He goes on to say that Drew is not ready for this violence, or he's not ready for this fight, and the world is not ready for this violence. Drew has tried to paint him as the bad guy, and Priest says he's going to beat Drew up so bad he'll wish he got future endeavored again. Oh man, he's already beating your ass on the mic, Drew. It's not gonna go well at this match. And he says he finishes off by saying at WrestleMania, he's going to bring the punishment and he's going to bury Drew. And have you noticed lately that like Priest is really leaning into like some Undertakerisms, like saying
Yep.
rest in peace to
Rest in
people and
peace.
how he's
Yep.
going to
Yep.
bury you. And so I'm like, are we going to see Priest debut a Tombstone pile driver? Because that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd be
let's
here
do
for
it.
it.
So, I expect a ridiculous match after. I mean, like, Priest, you can't say something like the world ain't ready for this violence because I have a pretty high capacity, as does this world, for the violence. So, like,
Yeah.
you're going to have to bring some violence if you're going to be like, oh, I wasn't ready for that. You know what I
Oh
mean?
man, I
So,
like how you just turned into Christopher Walken.
oh, did I? I
Yeah,
didn't mean to.
it's like
Um,
the
my
world is used to
violence.
violence.
My violence. Um, But I am anticipating a heck of a match between these two because they have just been tearing at each other for the past few weeks. And so, like, you remember how we talked about the build up to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens at,
Mhm.
I think it was Elimination Chamber, and how that match was going to have to be insane, and it was.
Yeah,
So, like, hopefully, same idea. Like, this is going to have to be insane. So I'm really looking forward to what Drew and Priest end up giving us for WrestleMania. I hope it's amazing.
yeah, me too. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Not carrying crossed because that would be weird, but just regular. um, but that leads us to the third match of the night, which is Chelsea Green versus Zelina Vega, according to Wade Barrett. That's how you pronounce Vega. Um, and would you
Selena Vega.
Zelina Vega? Uh, I'm just
Yeah,
picking on Wade. I love
this
Wade
will
actually. He's my favorite British commentator.
that's true. Although Nigel has been slowly winning me over with stuff like protecting, um, uh, oh my God, Shivani from an attack from FTR. Two thumbs up.
Fine, fine. Nigel McGuinness is pretty good too. There, I said it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll be quick with this one. This is probably the weakest match of the night, and that's not to say that it wasn't good. It just uh, we had a 6 match night. Um and there were some great matches, man. So this one, I mean, we started out with the fucking damn near 30 man. Then we continue that same energy with Motor City Machine Guns versus Street Profits. So while this one was good, it was entertaining still. It just wasn't like the best. It wasn't like at the top of the card.
Hmm.
Chelsea Green's always a delight, and I think she does pretty well with Vega. Vega is a very a hard
Mm,
judge for me because I don't know what to say about her. I feel like she's too little to do most of the stuff that she's trying to do, and people trying to sell it. Um, I don't know. I honestly don't know how I feel about it. I don't think she looked that great in this particular match. Uh, Zelina, that is. And I'm not sure who to blame for that. But this ultimately ends with Vega connecting with the Avalanche Code Red or whatever that move is called,
yeah, you
and
got it. Yeah.
she gets the win. Um,
And that was essentially the best move of the match. This was not a
yeah,
great in-ring performance.
no,
I mean, if we're talking comedic value, yeah, Chelsea's hilarious, right? But um, this wasn't a great in-ring performance.
I don't
There
know
was a
how I like
point.
about them working together. I just,
Well, you said you're not sure who to blame. Um, I've seen Chelsea do some great matches when she's been allowed. I mean, for
mhm,
fuck's sake, she's had matches in Lucha Underground with Penta,
yeah,
and it looked amazing. I can't say the same of Zelina Vega. I've not ever seen a match where I thought Zelina Vega looked great.
yeah,
I'm not trying to pick on her. I mean, she's adorable. She's like 2 inches tall, and she comes out dressed like an anime character. And she came out dressed like she was literally fire.
yeah,
Um, so I mean, it's nothing to do with that. I'm strictly talking in-ring performance, and I tend to agree with you. It might be because she's so little; it's very difficult for anybody to pull off these moves. But there was a point in time during this match, and I think they have to treat her like she's made of fragile glass in some respects, because there was a point where Chelsea Green did like some kind of kick. I think it was essentially a super kick or maybe a roundhouse, and all she did was kick the air. Like she kicked the
Yeah.
air and Zelina fell on the ground. Like it looked pretty bad.
Yeah, the
Um,
camera was close to it too.
yeah, so not great for the in ring. I will say that the Avalanche Code Red looked good, but that's 90% of Chelsea doing all the work because
Yeah.
essentially Vega's piggybacking on her back while Chelsea Green does a backflip onto the own backside of her neck. So, I mean, it's all Green delivering that. Like, almost everything that Vega does is her opponent selling it because all of her moves are like she's too little to do any lifts.
Yeah.
So, I'm not trying to be mean to Vega. I just don't think that she does a convincing job with the in-ring work, and it makes it very difficult for the other performer who has to carry the entire match around you. Um, and that's just the truth of it. And I say that with no malice. I actually like Zelina Vega. I like I said, she's like 1 inch tall and she's adorable. But as an in-ring performer, not my favorite.
Yeah.
Um, and this match was probably the weakest of the night, easily, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um, so that's my 2 cents on it. There's not really much else that's worth like running through on this match. It was okay, and outside of the the shockwave kick, because apparently it was the blast wave of the kick, not the actual foot itself that knocked Vega onto the mat. And the Avalanche Code Red, the rest, I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
So your winner, Zelina Vega via pinfall. Um, but aside from that tiny blemish on a fantastic SmackDown, we are now brought to LA Knight, and he wants to talk to us. And
Yeah, he asked politely.
he did. He said, "Let me talk to you."
And the audience agrees with this idea. They were like, yeah. They were there for it, just like I was.
Yep.
You want to talk about
And
his little promo, or?
yeah, I do. He refers to how he's been attacked repeatedly throughout the weeks, and how he can also use sneak attacks because week after week, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tamatonga, they like to use the numbers. They like to use sneak attacks, and he says, "Well, if you want sneak, then I got sneak, and sneaking is what I did." And he's referring to at the top of the show where he attacked Tamatonga and smashed his arm in the car door. And so he goes on to say, out of the equation is Tamatonga, and next on the list is Solo, which means at WrestleMania, it's just going to be me and Jacob Fatu. And he goes on to say that he understands Jacob Fatu is a force. The man's a monster. He's destroyed everything in front of him. He says, I've never seen anything like that, right? But Jacob, you don't understand because with that same energy, I walked into this place, turned the world upside down, and stand here as the U.S. champion 2 times. Most matches, most wins, and what that means is this is the title of titles. We ain't ever seen anything like you. Nah. You ain't ever seen anything like me. So when you grabbed my title last week, I could be cliche and I can say that's the closest you'll ever gonna get to touching this U.S. championship, but I ain't no dummy. I can look at you. I can see that someday, somewhere, chances are you will be a champion. Now, whether that's the U.S. champ or anything else, I don't know what the chances are. And while I'm standing here in the city of chances, I ain't talking about chances. I'm talking about guarantees. And the guarantee tonight is Solo Sikoa is about to come out here and eat one. And tomorrow night at WrestleMania, Jacob Fatu, I guarantee you'll eat a BFT courtesy of the man they call the megastar, with everybody saying LA Knight.
LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic promo. And that leads directly into the fourth match of the night, which is LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa. And what were your thoughts on this match?
I think I'd said to you last night that they were doing a really great job of not doing anything too strenuous, but still making it look like it was an action-packed match. So I thought they looked good together, but um, I also like the fact that oh my god, I'm trying to remember the name of the name of the move. Uh, there's a move that Solo does that we like. It's not the thumb one.
The spinning solo?
Yes. Didn't he do a spinning solo? Or did I? No, no,
Um,
no, no.
I
I'm
remember that he
remembering.
did like a belly to back suplex
Maybe that's what I'm
to LA
remembering.
Knight on the apron. I
Yeah,
don't recall him hitting the spinning
I
solo,
think maybe
but
that's the. I think maybe that's what I remember. Basically, what I'm saying is, even though they were playing it somewhat like careful, and you could see that, um, it still wasn't boring. Like he did moves like that, um, to LA Knight. So I thought it was a pretty good match, and I think that I felt like it got better even after this match, because I mean, just to extra double surprise us, you know. Again, we came into this SmackDown, guys, thinking that this was gonna be just a mid, like just a mid episode. We were not looking to see like LA Knight and Solo Sikoa going at it, and then while their match is
and
taking
then
place, Jacob Fatu throws his hat into the ring, and then he basically the match gets disqualified because he interferes, um, and freaking yeah, attacks. So then, uh, I think while that's happening, like the bell rings, disqualified, right? While that's happening, I think Nick Aldis comes out. No, no,
well, yeah.
no, no, no. He doesn't come out first. I think Braun
Strowman.
Strowman comes
Yep.
out. Yeah, he comes out as like lightning. He came out so fast that I almost forgot that he came out, guys. That's why I went straight to Nick Aldis.
Yeah,
Um,
the near 400-pound blur on the screen.
and he came out like a slow motion bullet, and Nick Aldis came out finally, and again, Nick Aldis, greatest manager in WWE right now. The other one we're not gonna talk about. He appears and he's like, since everybody can't keep their hands to themselves until WrestleMania, we're gonna have LA Knight and Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa in an impromptu tag team match. All right now, you know what I mean?
Naramin?
He said
Yep.
that too, and then he went backstage. Like, you guys can look it up. He legit said, you know what I mean? Look,
Yeah, that's a quote.
facts quoted. Um, and that led us into our fifth match of the night: LA Knight and Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa.
Yep.
Your thoughts?
Uh I'm with you all the way. Like I wasn't expecting that. Like I didn't expect it to turn from one match into the other. I
Yeah,
didn't expect that Solo and LA Knight was just going to be a transition. Like I think anybody with eyes could have expected interference, and I thought it was just going to be another one of those things where like Fatu interferes, and then like him and Solo, since Tama like hurt his arm, um, they just beat up LA Knight. but yeah, the impromptu tag match I wasn't anticipating. And
Yeah.
this ended up being a pretty solid tag match between these two.
Yep.
I mean, it was crazy good. I really enjoyed one. I enjoy seeing Solo in the ring. It's fun. But Solo and Jacob Fatu are like a force to be reckoned with, and LA
Yeah.
Knight and Braun Strowman are like immovable objects. So this was just a big clash, and I think most everybody, at least LA Knight and Strowman got to show off their stuff. I I I think when Fatu and Solo were controlling it, I there were a lot more headbutts and strikes. So I
Yeah.
felt like, and this is after you had mentioned, maybe they're trying to play it a little bit more safely, heading into WrestleMania. And we end up with a point where Knight ends up throwing Jacob Fatu out to the floor, and he tags in Strowman, and Strowman like ends up knocking Solo off the ring apron and Fatu again back out to the floor, and then he delivers the Strowman Express. That
Yeah.
is faster than light. And he ends up. I couldn't quite tell if he actually connected with Solo or if Solo just jumped up on the apron when he ran past him.
Hmm.
But he nailed Jacob, and then he rolls Jacob Fatu back into the ring, and Fatu catches him as he's coming back into the ring. I think he hits him with like an elbow followed by a super kick, and then he goes for a running lariat, and eventually drops Strowman with a DDT. Now this DDT was interesting to me because Strowman was ready for it almost faster than Jacob, because Strowman went to the mat before Jacob almost. So a very small kind of like timing issue, but it was interesting to watch.
Yeah.
And I want to say that they go back and forth for a while, and Fatu then tags in Solo, and like Solo's just kicking Strowman in the face repeatedly, followed by like several headbutts.
True
And
story.
let's see. After a bit of that, because Solo didn't really do anything much more than strikes, and I think he put like a rear chin lock on him. Then he tags in Jacob, and Jacob comes in with like a running boot. And then he tries to put I think like a neck lock or something onto Strowman. And Strowman ends up picking him up for this massive sidewalk slam, and it's disturbing because Strowman's like 6'8", so even a sidewalk slam from him is like you're still being dropped from like 4.5 to 5 feet. So it was like splat, and at that point Strowman tags in LA Knight, and Fatu manages to roll, to his side of the ring and tag in Solo, and this is where Knight sort of takes it and runs with it. He ends up ducking a clothesline from Solo, and then he hits Solo with like a big side Russian leg sweep. Then he goes on to blast Fatu off the ring apron, and this next thing he did, we were both very impressed by, because it's his pop-up power slam, which on occasion has not looked great, but in this occasion it was surprisingly good because Solo is not a little dude. And he's kind of bottom heavy, so he would be even harder to do this move to. But
Yeah.
LA Knight drilled him with it like perfectly. So I was very impressed that he was able to pull that off on Solo the way he did it and make it look as good as he did. And then he of course moves to the corner and gets up on the middle rope and does the LA Knight, and then he does the backwards jump into the big megastar elbow, but he only catches a 2 count. and I think Jacob was coming into the ring, or maybe he only caught a 2 count because of Jacob's interference, and so Strowman comes in and he pounces Jacob and knocks him kind of out of the ring, and then he goes again. Strowman does. He rolls out and he goes again to try and do kind of the Strowman Express, but this time Jacob sidesteps him, and I don't know how he did it. Like Jacob must have amazing reflexes because you could barely keep track of Strowman. He was moving so fast. And at any rate, Fatu sidesteps and sends Strowman completely over the announce table. But before Fatu can celebrate that particular victory for too long, LA Knight comes with a wrecking ball drop kick, and then gets back into the ring where he avoids getting Samoan spiked by an awaiting Solo, and instead ducks under it and then kicks Solo in the gut and hits a just picture perfect BFT on Solo Sikoa to pick up the victory. And so it was a fairly decent match for an impromptu tag match between these guys. And so your winner, LA Knight, and winners, I should say, LA Knight and Braun Strowman via pinfall. And surprisingly, no shenanigans afterwards, other than LA Knight talking complete and utter shit to Jacob Fatu, who, had crawled back up on top of the announce table while LA Knight was in the corner, standing in the corner, celebrating the victory. And just the whole time, just talking mad smack to Jacob Fatu.
Just could not turn it off. It was
He can't. I don't think
all
he
night.
can.
His body like a faucet. Like he couldn't stop. I'm just reminded of that time that he broke and said "yeah" for 800 times.
Yeah, like something snapped. And it wasn't a Slim Jim. And that brings us to the second portion of, earlier in the evening, Wade Barrett had talked about how he had interviewed Charlotte Flair. Well, he had also had an opportunity to sit down and talk to Tiffany Stratton. And would you like to speak to the Tiffany Stratton side of this interview?
Sure. He asked her essentially, I guess he asked her pretty much the same thing. He basically wanted to know what happened on the interview that went off the rails. And she gave more of a response, I think, than Charlotte did. I think she gave more of an honest one, where she literally says that she did what I told you, Josh, and all of our listeners. I told you guys exactly what she had done. And she went down the line of what she said she did. She said she went back to the drawing board and she did her research and she made sure that Charlotte and me face to face again, that she was gonna come prepared. Yeah. And then she's like, I felt my moment and I came at her with the kill shot. Played Charlotte Flair at her own game, and that's how she's looking at that. That's how she looks at what she did. And literally, she sat down. She turned on the soundtrack to Gossip Girls. She started doing her research online. She asked Bing several questions.
She went to Charlotte Flair's Wikipedia page.
Yeah, she went to the Charlotte Flair Wikipedia page, and then she went to the Flair family Wikipedia page. And then she went to her co-pilot and she asked, what was Charlotte Flair doing when she was my age? And then she wrote all that shit down and she rehearsed it backstage in the mirror. And she was like, spying on Charlotte to see what she was going to wear. And she's like, I can wear it better, bitch. And so she did that. And then she came out after sitting backstage, listening to fucking Avril Lavigne best of. She's like, they're gonna call me up there soon, and I just have to show them that I'm not playing around. She turned off her copy of Legally Blonde too, and she went out. She went out into the arena, and you know, felt like she was gonna try to make. Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't go. And you're almost 40, and then just like,
Your
like
shoes are stupid too.
And you may have blonde hair, but I can see that gray. Throw the mic down. Okay. Yeah, you're almost near menopause. Yeet.
Oh no.
Yeah. So yeah, but she basically says that she beat her at her own game, and she gave her a taste of her own medicine, and she doesn't have to like me. Which I know that statement is telling me that Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton probably don't really like each other in real life. But she says that she didn't have to like me. She didn't have to love me, you know. But she damn sure has to respect me now. And I'm like, I don't think that garners respect, sweetheart. Um, I think that garners an ass whooping, definitely. And if you survive that ass whooping, then you might get my respect. But why would I respect you because you did your due diligence to look on Wikipedia and find out some shit about me and then throw it in my face? How am I respecting? How does that make me go? Oh, I respect her. When what I did was come at you professionally. What I did was cut a promo on your in-ring work, on who you are as a wrestler. What you did was attempt to basically break me down as a person, as a woman. Like there's a difference. And you expect for me to respect that. I respect that I'm gonna whip your ass. That is
Yeah,
how I
yeah.
feel about that.
In that
So
final promo, it was like, you know, it was like Charlotte said, "You're young, you're naive, and you can't wrestle that well, and I'm gonna kick your ass." And Tiffany's response was like, "Yeah, well, your dog died, and your mom has AIDS." And
yeah.
it's like, what?
Yeah, like what the fuck? Yeah. Tiffany goes, "Oh, I can't wrestle. Well, you're gonna die alone." Like, wow.
Yeah, that's actually very accurate.
Okay. We went somewhere special with this bullshit. So no, you don't get respect for that. You don't get respect because you're a catty bitch. You get ass whoopings for being a catty bitch. You see, just like all the fucking movies that you watch to get ready for that fucking comeback, you know that these bitches get their ass beat in some way. So yeah, this is your moment. Now you're gonna win the match. You're gonna win the match because you're supposed to win it. But I hope that Charlotte Flair puts you through the ringer. I hope you guys give us a great match because honestly, I'm none too impressed with your fucking mic work. So, fingers crossed there. And that's all I gotta say about that.
Yep. I fully agree. But after that segment, we are brought to our sixth match, which is the match that formed earlier in the evening, the six-man match: Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and Rey Fenix versus American Made, which is Brutus and Julius Creed and Chad Gable, in a six-man tag team match. And this was a pretty good match. I mean, especially, I mean, Dragon Lee, I'm still waiting to like have that moment where he impresses the shit out of me since he's been on the main roster. Because I feel
Yeah.
like I saw better out of him back when he was in AEW, and I'm not sure why that is.
Yeah.
And Rey Mysterio is Rey Mysterio. I mean, he's solid. Uh, the real star of the channel on that side of the team for me is Rey Fenix, and Rey Fenix is insane forever. And on the other side, you have Brutus and Julius Creed, who are absolutely phenomenal in that ring, and Chad Gable, who is way more phenomenal than the role he's been given to play. But you know, hey, it is what it is. Um, and so I was pretty pleased with this match, especially the spots where we got to see Ray Phoenix go off. But before I get into the details about certain maneuvers, what was your general impression of this match?
Um, fun. Like it was fun, right? Um, I okay. So I didn't know that this was like technically the main event. Because it didn't have a main event feel. Like it's not like it wasn't a bad match. I mean, it's not like it was a bad match. It wasn't. And like you said, um, Dragon Lee is underwhelming. For when I compare him to other luchadors, especially in WWE, where you have the opportunity to stand out because there's not a lot of competition versus AEW, right? Because
Well,
they're elbow
yeah,
and elbow with
there wasn't.
CMLL,
Yeah,
right?
there wasn't when Dragon Lee came to the WWE, but now you've got like Joaquin and
Right,
Berto stepping up, and you've just gained Penta and Phoenix.
right.
So
But what I'm
you had
pointing
your time to shine.
Right, but what I'm pointing out is there's still more luchadors in AEW than in WWE, and I mean seasoned, well trained,
Oh yeah.
like blow your wig back, luchadors in AEW. They got the
Oh, for
lot. They
sure.
they run
Oh
the
yeah.
gambit. So there's still an opportunity in WWE to shine bright like a diamond when it comes to that. Um, and I feel I feel like Dragon Lee just keeps coming short. Like Ray just got here. Ray Phoenix just got here. He's already done shit in that ring that made people in the audience go, "Whoa!" You know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
Dragon Lee just doesn't give me that vibe, and I hate to make this a bitch about Dragon Lee, but I have to because he was kind of the sore thumb in this match. Um, it like putting him with Rey Mysterio and Rey Phoenix, you could see that the weakest link was Dragon Lee. You understand what I'm saying? So I have to kind of make it about him. But other than that, American Made, I mean, they looked good. They always look good, and they always treat Rey Mysterio like gold. So there's that.
Yeah.
But I honestly didn't know that this was the main event. Didn't have a main event feel. Um, needed. They didn't even say that it was the main event. No one even used that word. Um, they just kind of went, "Oh yeah," and then this match. And I kind of felt like it was like a rush, like they were trying to fill a time slot. Like we got 5 minutes to do something here. Why don't we have you guys go out there and just do a little quick exhibition or whatever, and then get into the actual the actual meat and potatoes of why we're here. That's what I felt like this was, but uh I don't know. I felt like it was a quick match, and uh I mean it was decent. It was. Would I call it the match of the night though? No.
Yeah. Well, and to just recap some of the action, I'll start with the like final portion of the match.
Yeah.
Um, essentially, you have Gable and Lee in the ring, and Gable is pretty much beating up Lee. Gets him into an armbar and is driving his knee into his midsection when he tags in Julius. And Lee's able to kick Gable in the face. Um, and then he tries to jump at Julius, and Julius catches him. And then the Creed brothers deliver the Brutus Ball, but it only gets a 2 count. I believe, if I recall correctly, because Ray Phoenix may have interfered. Julius punches Ray Phoenix and then tags in Brutus. And the Creeds put Dragon Lee on the top turnbuckle because he's still the legal man and attempt to go for a double vertical suplex. And Dragon Lee blocks that. And then he gets the Creeds in a trio woe. And Gable tries to, insert himself into this situation. And he too gets tied up in a trio of woe. And then Dragon Lee does like a triple foot stomp on all three members of the team. And then once they recover from that, Julius stops what Lee's trying to do, and Lee then proceeds to try and fight his way towards the corner, and he tags in Phoenix. And Phoenix comes in with that, like, I just got tagged in momentum. So he's nailing forearm shots and knocking people down. And he goes to Irish Whip Julius, who reverses it, and he basically tosses Phoenix through the middle rope, and Phoenix kind of grabs the middle rope, spins out, and then spins back in with a rebound spinning kick, which is kind of a signature of his for anyone who's watched Ray Phoenix for very long. It's really cool looking, and it results in a nasty heel kick that looked like it knocked Julius's head off. Phoenix then grabs him up for a rolling crucifix and attempts to pin, but only gets a 2 count. And Julius knees Phoenix in the midsection and hits an overhead belly to belly. And this belly to belly, I'm remembering it mentally, and it just looked so easy for Julius. Like he was throwing nothing. Like he tossed Phoenix with such ease. And he then picks up Phoenix, throws him back first into the turnbuckles. But Phoenix, comes out of the turnbuckle and super kicks Julius. And then Phoenix catches him with a springboard arm drag and ends it with a double foot stomp. And then after some combination offense, Phoenix Hurricane Rana's after stepping like I think Brutus came in to interfere, and he got dropped. And then off the back of Brutus, he Hurricane Rana's Julius, and then he runs across the top rope and blasts Chad Gable with the Goodbye Amigo kick. And that allows Dragon Lee to, tag himself in at some point, and then he runs in and hits Operation Dragon. And then, no, I'm sorry, Lee didn't tag himself in. He just ran in and hit Operation Dragon. And then Phoenix does this massive flying Meteora, like off the top rope. Anybody who's ever seen Swerve Strickland hit the Swerve Stomp to an opponent that's not quite laying prone in the middle of the ring, but they're sitting. It was from that position, and Phoenix instead does this massive diving flying Meteora and then goes for the 1, 2, 3. And so Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and Rey Phoenix all pick up the win by pinfall. And at a point earlier in the melee, I think Rey Mysterio took a shot because like the whole remainder of the match was Dragon Lee and Rey Phoenix.
Yeah.
And so at the end of it, you see Phoenix and Dragon Lee move like off of the apron. They go over and they're checking on him. And so that's what's leading some people to believe that Rey Mysterio got injured in that particular match. And so there's quite a possibility floating in the air that Rey Mysterio will not necessarily be the one who is going against El Grande Americano. There's a possibility that we could see Rey Phoenix or Dragon Lee instead. So we'll all find out together
Yeah,
when we're watching WrestleMania.
and I'm hoping that it's not Dragon Lee. I'm hoping it's Ray Phoenix.
You're hoping it's Ray Phoenix. I think a lot of people probably would be. Anybody who's watched I mean, if you're not familiar with Ray Phoenix or Penta from when they were either in Lucha Underground or AEW, then if all you know is Ray Phoenix just for the couple of matches he's had since his debut, I think anybody would hope that it's Ray Phoenix because Ray Phoenix is insane. Like, he's
Yeah.
so good.
I agree, and I hope that it's him
Indeed.
and not
Uh,
Dragon Lee.
yeah. But following that match, we are brought to the closing promo, which is going to be the final promo between Cody Rhodes and John Cena. And we have Cody Rhodes come out first because wrestling has more than one royal family. And then after Cody hits the ring, before Cody can say a word, like not even a word, you get John Cena's music, and he comes out and makes his way to the ring. And then once John Cena is in the ring and the crowd is settled, it looks like Cody Rhodes is about to say something, and John Cena just shuts him down by saying, "Shut your mouth, kid. This is going to be my 20th WrestleMania, my 12th title match. I know just as well as anybody right around now you can get lost in all the noise and all the voices, but there's one voice you should be listening to right now, and that's the one coming from the man looking you in the eye. Sunday is the last time I'll ever compete in a WrestleMania ring. No one has ever had the courage to end their career the way I am doing, and there's nothing you can possibly do to prepare to face a man who knows he's going to die." And I remember pausing and thinking, don't all adult individuals realize that they're going to die someday? Like, is there anyone out there thinking, I'm immortal? But
Yeah,
digress.
there is, but I mean they're
Is
wrong. But there are
is
some
it
people out there.
Damian Priest? Because he wants to live forever. But at any rate, I get the gist of what he's saying. You know, he's
Yeah.
at the end of his career. He really doesn't have anything to lose, and he might as well give it his all, kind of a thing.
Mhm.
And he says, "What I'm doing is so unprecedented. They don't think it's real. They don't believe it. They think I'm going to come back because everyone always crawls back. There's no such thing as a wrestling retirement. There's always one more match." And he says, "The reason there isn't wrestling retirement is because every other wrestler is a scared, insecure loser." And he says, every other wrestler needs these people, referring to the audience. And he needs these people to care about them, to post about them, to talk about them, because the second they get away from all this, they're left alone by themselves with their pathetic lives. So they come crawling back as a shell of themselves. I wonder if The Rock felt called out. Oh, he goes on to say that he has love, joy, and worth in his life. Well, if that's true, then how is he the multimillionaire victim? Anyway,
Yeah.
he says, "I don't need a single damn one of you. The only reason I'm here is to take that away from you." And he points at the championship sitting on Cody's shoulder. And he says, "And from all of you, forever. Don't say I didn't warn you, because I did. Last year when you won that championship, everybody was raising you on their shoulders and giving you watches and stuff and saying, 'Good job, champ.' When I had my moment alone with you, like a man to your face, you made out." No, I'm just kidding. He said,
God.
he says, "I didn't say good job, champ. I said every day you hold that, it gets heavier. And Sunday, it finally becomes too heavy for you to hold. You'll lose. You will lose because you care about them." Again, pointing to the WWE
Yeah,
universe.
I don't know why we keep catching strays, man.
Yeah, what did we do?
Like we're just trying to watch this fucking debacle, bruh.
Right? Dude, how have we wronged you by buying your product?
Come on, buddy. Chill out. We're not
and
even
he
here.
goes-
Ignore us.
Right? He goes on to say, "You people don't write history, winners do." Videotape helps. I mean, like we can watch what happened, but I digress. He said, I came out here tonight because I want to share one more thing with you before Sunday. When I won the Elimination Chamber, I knew it would be impossible to beat you in a match at WrestleMania. And then in one moment, you changed all that. You changed all that when you said what you said to The Rock. You see, kid, The Rock gave you a choice. Do you want to do what they think is right, or do you want to win? And the moment you made your choice, not only did I think I can beat you, I realized Sunday you don't stand a chance. And that night, all that was left for me to do was the one thing you couldn't prove to all of them, again pointing to the fans, that they don't matter. You see, all this noise is from them. These people, they always make up their own version of the truth they want to believe. And when you stop caring about that and stop caring about them, you can start accomplishing anything in your life. But you're too weak to understand that. Sunday, in order to beat me, you're going to have to choose. Are you going to do what they think is right, or are you going to win? And Cody, you are strong, you're tough, you're driven, but you're also scared, insecure, and naive. You say you wear this suit because you want to be somebody. You have your tattoo because you want to be somebody. You didn't need the tattoo or the suit because Sunday, I'm going to make you somebody. Somebody who finally realizes that to become a winner, you have to sever ties with all the losers in your life, or somebody who had a real chance to be a winner and blew it. And in that very moment, you realize that you're not the captain, you're not the quarterback, you're still just a kid in a man's world who doesn't have the balls of the last real champion.
Damn.
And there's a little bit of a back and forth because the crowd is like chanting, and at a certain point, I think we noticed like for some reason they were booing Cody, and I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, they were booing the shit
why
out
are
of
they booing?
Cody.
And so John says, "This is who you fight for. This is who matters to you." And
Right.
Cody Rhodes proceeds to respond, and he
Oh.
says, "You said,
Oh, please. Please allow me.
oh,
Please.
by all means,
Oh,
I turn the floor to you."
I have trained for this moment. No. Cody Rhodes says, you said in London, you said you don't bury talent, that you are talent. Well, I know a graveyard of talent who would disagree with that statement, but we're not talking about them. We're talking about WrestleMania. Let me ask you a question, John. Do you know his name? He's pointing at somebody on the apron. That one that handed you the microphone. Do you know his name? No. You don't know her name either, do you? And I wager you walk backstage and you don't know any of those people either. This is a different WWE, John. When this was your WWE, I worshipped you. They worshipped you. Like, pointing to the audience. But since the GOAT hasn't showed up since Elimination Chamber, allow me to offer you a little perspective, okay? You call me underwhelming? Guess what? You are overrated. You are overbearing. And more importantly, you are out of touch and you are out of time. Your face is melting wax. You got a stack of dimes for a neck, spindly ass legs. You're paler than Sting at Starcade 97. And your sanctimonious comments about how I'm an errand boy when the whole world watched you walk out on the Oscars stage butt ass naked for the people you run errands for now. And by God, John Cena, it is 2025 and you still can't wrestle.
Mic drop.
Oh my God.
And just that quick, the audience that started out booing Cody Rhodes were cheering.
My man read him to filth. And so the audience is going, you can't wrestle, right? And John Cena looks around at the audience and then he says, idiots. And just like you, they don't know what they want. And Cody, on Sunday to beat you, I don't have to wrestle. So then, he like bopped Cody on the forehead or poked him in the eye or something. And then he picks Cena picks Cody up for the attitude adjustment, but Cody lands back on his feet, and he drops Cena with the crossroads. And Cody stands tall over Cena as the show goes off the air.
And that was awesome.
Yeah, Miz approved. We'll keep the Miz vibe because he worked hard this episode. Honestly, this was a
He did.
fan fucking tastic SmackDown. You don't have to wait for what I have to say about like my rating or my score. You don't have to wait. This was absolutely top tier. Even with the match with Zelina Vega, even with Dragon Lee being all left feet, even with that, I would still put this SmackDown as close to 10 as I ever have. I'd give it like a 9.5. Honestly, this was a banger from beginning to end.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. It's definitely a 9 to 9.5. Even with the micro flubs, because they were
Yeah.
really minor nitpicks that most people won't even care because they'll just be riding the dopamine rush that this episode was start to finish.
Yeah.
It was fire. It was Zelina Vega's outfit. It was fire. Some of the most amazing promos I've seen in WWE. It did a great job building hype for the upcoming WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It gave us some really good matches, especially considering that, WrestleMania is today and this was last night. So, I mean, they have a lot going on. They could have just as easily phoned in this SmackDown. They didn't. Yeah. I'm gonna give it 9 to 9.5 nubs. Top tier, easily.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I am absolutely hyped for WrestleMania. Unbelievable. One last thing I would like to mention as we came to the end of that promo, and we talked about it last night when we saw it. We were like, oh man, is Cody Rhodes going to lose? Because if we follow the kind of pattern that we've identified, right, whoever's on top in the final promo tends to be the one losing in the match.
Yeah.
Now that's not always true, but it's been true enough to be an identifiable pattern. So since that's 2 for 2 that Cody Rhodes has crossroads the crap out of John Cena, you think Cody's winning it, or do you think it's like I kind of predicted that maybe John Cena wins it, and then Cody and anybody else has to chase John Cena for the remainder of his career, or that belt's going home with him?
I don't know. I think I don't know, man. But I feel like he has to win it. I feel like John Cena can't. Still, I don't know. I am a bundle of nerves. Of excitement, wrestle nerves.
I definitely feel like this WrestleMania, like there's some matches that have some real potential to do some absolutely insane shit. Now, whether or not WWE will go that route remains to be seen, but the potential is there.
Yeah.
And so it makes it super interesting to see what the outcome will actually be. And that's why I'm pretty hyped for WrestleMania, despite, all of the different outlets that are saying things like the build-up was ass, stuff like that. I'm here for it. I am absolutely drooling to watch WrestleMania. So it's like, oh, it's gonna be so good.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, All of that said, I want to thank everybody who listened to this episode, and I invite you to our upcoming episodes. We're definitely going to be covering WrestleMania for sure. It's going to be a busy next few days because we've got SmackDown, then we've got WrestleMania, and then, of course, we've got Monday Night Raw on Monday. So there's a lot happening, and it's a good time to be a WWE and just a wrestling fan.
Yep.
So we hope we hope you join us for that. That said, there isn't much more for me to do for now, but roll the outro.
Bye-bye, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Top Tier Wrestling. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the latest AEW and WWE news and shows. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. Follow us on social media for updates and to join the conversation. Until next time, everyone, remember, wrestling is always better when it's top tier.